Good morning. Assalamualaikum. So today is our last lecture on part 3, bioremediation for organic contaminants for petroleum hydrocarbon. Before I start, any question from the previous class? I think I have uploaded the recorded lecture and notes from previous topic. Okay, let me know if I have missed anything. You can check in CN. Okay, basically petroleum hydrocarbons, it involved with the biosurfactants. Okay, in order to bioremediate remediated it will involve biosurfactant. Okay, sometimes you will read through for example, cleanup of oil spill, they will use chemical dispersion. Okay, but some of it in order to save the environment, they move towards bioremediation technique. Can see this, the wording, or is it too small? Yeah. Okay, for introduction, we know that petroleum industry involve exploration, the extraction, refining, okay, transporting, and all of this process, they emit organic pollutants, okay, with an ecotoxicological concern. Now, the major pollutants that are caused from petroleum processes, for example, aliphatic and aromatic hydrocarbons. Okay, which includes the benzene, toluene. Okay, these are the aromatics. And then these aromatic hydrocarbons are rooted to sediments, soil, atmosphere, and groundwater. So they will be absorbed by the soil and by the atmosphere, and also will seep through the soil into the groundwater. The oil refineries, it contributes to the surface and the groundwater pollution. The petroleum will seep through the soil and perhaps might end up in the aquifer, the groundwater storage. Okay, the safe and proper disposal of this hydrocarbon by environmental friendly remediation techniques result in microbial bioremediation. Okay, we know bioremediation, we can use phytoremediation is one of the bioremediation as well. Okay, here most of the time they use microbial bioremediation, whether it is fungi or bacterial. Okay. Microbial bioremediation limited by the unavailability of hydrocarbon molecules, okay, by the sorption and stability of the hydrocarbon. Okay, there are limitations for the microbial bioremediation. Then, due to this limitation, surfactants comes in. Okay, surfactants tend to help to increase the bioavailability and mobilization of the oil contaminants in the petroleum industry and cleanup of oil spills. Okay, there are various types of surfactants. We have chemical surfactants. We also have biosurfactants. Okay, so biosurfactants is commonly used due to the biodegradability. Okay, and their emulsification nature. have become a promising option to replace surfactants. Okay, biosurfactants is due to the biodegradability compared to chemical surfactants. Perhaps chemical surfactants, it might need some time to degrade, and at the end it will pollute the environment. Okay. The properties of biosurfactants are on par with synthetic surfactants and help the reduction of the free energy of the system. So by bringing high energy bulk molecules to an interface. Okay, the term emulsification over here. What do you understand? Emulsification. Emulsion. Clump together. Okay, and it will float on top. So this biosurfactant, chemical surfactant and biosurfactant, the concept is the same. It's just that the material of biosurfactant and chemical surfactant. Biosurfactant, the performance is similar, but due to their biodegradability. Okay, due to the biodegradability. Okay, we have microbe and biosurfactant production, where biosurfactants are the natural surfactants. Okay, which are surface active biomolecules produced by diverse microbes, okay, from microbes. They are produced by bacteria, yeast, and fungi as intracellular, extracellular, or a part of a cell membrane, okay, that reduce the surface tension. This is their purpose. Okay, the factors affecting the biodegradation are shown over here. Okay, we can see from this figure, clear enough. Wait, let me separate the figure. Okay, the factor as can from here. This is the bioremediation of hydrocarbon. Okay, so we have the degrading microbes as the biosurfactant. Okay, and the factors over here, it involve the bioavailability of contaminants for the sorption and desorption, diffusion and dissolution. And the environmental factors also plays the role in the bioremediation of the hydrocarbon, where the temperature, pH, and the aeration. Okay, this is the common one. If let's say for example, oil spill in the ocean, the wind also plays the role in the biodegradation process, bioremediation, and also the waves, because it will move the oil spill away. Okay, the waves, the wind, the sunlight, okay, it involved in the bioremediation process as well. Okay, it depends to the location. Ocean, open ocean compared to shoreline is different. Okay. Now, for the biodegradation of hydrocarbons molecules, there must be an efficient interaction between the microbes and the molecules. Okay, so this is possible either by direct contact with the oil or with the help of the mediator. Mediator here refers to the biosurfactants. Okay, biosurfactants. So between microbes and the molecule, you have biosurfactants. Biosurfactants, the function is to reduce the surface tension. It will improve the emulsification process, bring up the oil to the surface, clump together, then microbe comes in to degrade. Okay. So the biosurfactants are produced by microbes as metabolites on the membrane for growth of insoluble substrate. Okay, and enable hydrocarbon degrading microorganism to survive and grow in hydrocarbon contaminated environments. So the biosurfactants produced as metabolites. They clump and improve the emulsification process just now. Then microbe will eat up the hydrocarbon, degrade the hydrocarbon. Okay, reduction in surface and interfacial tension. This increases the efficacy as dispersion result. Okay, in biosurfactants, enhancing the remediation process. So there are physical and chemical properties of the biosurfactants. Okay, these are the physical and chemical properties, which they lower surface tension, low critical micelle concentration, increase solubility, enhance emulsification, low toxicity, and enhance biodegradability. In textbook, each of these properties is explained in details. But for our case, for our level, I don't think you need to go into details on the explanation. Okay, because each of these, like lower surface tension, it explains how is the mechanism, what are the example of the microbe involved. Okay, you can read through if you want to know details from the textbook. As long as you know the physical and chemical properties of the biosurfactants, it will be enough as of now. Okay. Okay, this one I extracted from the textbook as well. If you Google around, you will see a similar concept like this figure. There are various journal papers showing similar concept as this figure. Okay. I found one useful paper for petroleum hydrocarbon, but I cannot get the full paper from Nature Springer. Later I'll share with you. Using the, I cannot crack the original paper. Cannot. I tried, cannot, but perhaps later I will try again. Okay, this is, for example, oil spill in the ocean from these journals. Okay, here we have the oil. Okay, for example, this is the concept. The oil droplets, then it formed the biofilm on the oil droplets. Bacteria will degrade the oil droplets over here. Okay, bacteria, biofilm. Similar concept as in plastic waste last time. Bacteria attach to it and it will form the biofilm. Then it degrade the plastic last time, right? So similar concept for the oil droplet as well, for the petroleum hydrocarbon. So microbes break apart the hydrocarbon and combine them with oxygen to create H2O and CO2, which is the final product. All oil cannot be consumed, but leftover is dispersed by currents and the winds. Okay, so because perhaps there is not enough bacteria to consume all the oil spill, so the leftover will be dispersed by the current and wind. There are also aquatic life that can consume oil spill, the hydrocarbon. Okay, there are few species of aquatic life that will consume the hydrocarbon. Okay, some of the oil which will be volatile to the atmosphere. Okay, so and it will be in the atmosphere over here. Okay, these are the characteristics of biosurfactant. Biosurfactant consists of hydrophilic and hydrophobic. There are two parts, hydrophilic and hydrophobic. What is hydrophilic? Like water. Hydrophobic? Like oil. Hydrophobic, scared of water. Perhaps it can attach to the oil. Another term for love oil is oleophilic. Oleophilic means love the oil. Oleo. Hydro here refers to water. Okay, the hydrophilic part is based on amino acid, peptides, polysaccharides, okay, acid, all these things. Whereby the hydrophobic portion, hydrophobic, has saturated and unsaturated or hydroxylated fatty acid or composed of amphiphilic or hydrophobic. Okay, so there are different parts. Hydrophilic will have base of amino acid, everything. Then hydrophobic, you have saturated and unsaturated. Okay, the surfactant-oriented monolayer surrounding the hydrocarbon molecule was developed. Okay, later we'll go to the next figure. By biosurfactant, okay, with a hydrophobic tail out to the liquid, hydrophobic tail out to the liquid phase, forming a new surface area. The type and concentration of biosurfactants produced by microbes are based on the composition of the hydrocarbon contaminant itself. Okay, it's based on the hydrocarbon itself. The nutrient limitations and the environmental factors affect the biosurfactant generation. Okay, like temperature, pH, and oxygen content. Okay, here's the figure. Oh, I left out the figure 10.2 over here. Later I check back. So the type, we have the type of biosurfactant. Again, the biosurfactant can be produced by bacteria, yeast, and fungi, which they are different in their composition, structure, and properties. Okay, so perhaps for oil spill cleanup, they will need specific type of biosurfactant that can eat up the oil spill, the hydrocarbon. Okay, the biosurfactant are grouped based on the following characteristic, where it has ionic charges, based on molecular weight and the secretion type, whether they are intracellular, extracellular, or adhered to the microbial cell. Okay, there are 5 major groups. Glycolipids, hydroxylated and cross-linked fatty acid, peptides, proteins, okay, lipids. 5 major groups. This one you need to know the 5 major groups of the biosurfactant. In textbook, they explain in detail each of this group. But for our course, you don't need to explain. Okay? As long as you know the 5 major groups, what are they? Lipids, fatty acids, peptides, okay, protein. Any question so far? Glycolipids, fatty acid, lipo, 1, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, glycolipid, fatty acid, lipo, phospholipid, and neutrolipids. Okay. Now for the biosurfactant mediated bioremediation. How do they bioremediate the oil spill? Okay, for example, the microbes during the bioremediation process assimilate or transform the xenobiotics to less toxic compounds. What assimilate means? Consume, okay, consume the things. Consume the pollutants into the less toxic compounds. Okay, and then the microbes, surfactants produced by the microbes will break the barrier of emulsion formation in the water hydrocarbon interface. So the surfactant, it will break them into small pieces of emulsion. Okay, then they will degrade the compound. Okay, there are 2 major approaches for the in situ bioremediation of petroleum hydrocarbons. One approach is bioaugmentation. What is bioaugmentation? Add microbe. Import the microbe. Okay. And biostimulation. Sorry. Yeah. Either keep feeding them with nutrient, adding nutrient, or adding oxygen, or adding extra substrate to stimulate the growth of the microbes in order for them to produce the surfactants. Okay, so the 2 major approaches are the bioaugmentation and the biostimulation. Now this picture is one of the oil spill case in 1989, Exxon Valdez. Exxon Valdez is the name of the ship, the tanker. It is a big disaster during this time. The oil spill to the ocean is around 11 million gallons. Okay, after 20, 30 years, still not settled, the oil spill. Okay, so it impact not only to the aquatic life, to the other types of animal like the birds, okay, aquatic life, the birds, and then this oil, they will be pushed by the currents to the shoreline, and it will impact the shoreline as well, the beaches, okay, and the rocks. If you Google around for Exxon Valdez disaster, you will see the pictures. Whale also die. Many animals affected from this disaster. Reduce what? Reduce the surface tension, enhance the emulsification process. Breaking the barrier of emulsion formation. Reduce surface tension. Let's say oil spill, there a big layer of oil, right? A big layer of oil. So surfactants over here, it will break the big layer of oil into small emulsion, small bubbles, reduce surface tension. Okay, so it will convert them into small bubbles, oils, rather than a big layer of oil. So microbes will attach to the oil with the reduced surface tension, then they will eat up the oil. If
So it's causing emulsion between microbe and
come again?
so it's the emulsion between like the micro and the hydrocarbon.
Yes. They will clump the oil into small bubbles so that the microbe, to ease the degradation process by the microbe. Okay, in this Exxon Valdez oil spill, they use one of the method, they use bioremediation. Apart from using the book, okay, if you Google around, one method to clean up the oil spill is using the book. They also implement the bioremediation where gravel mediated by surfactants, gravel mediated by biosurfactant produced by the microbes. What is gravel? Gravel. Huh? Sand, rock, stone. Gravel mediated here, we can see from this statement, it focuses on the shoreline. So the oil that has been pushed by the current to the shoreline affected on the sand and the gravel. So they mediated the gravel by the microbes. Can get the idea? Yes, the sandstone at the shoreline. So focus area over here, from this statement, what I can conclude, focus area is on the shoreline, not in the open ocean. Okay, at the shoreline. So they mediated the gravel, the sand, by the microbes. Okay. The bacteria use Pseudomonas strain, okay, and the isolate P52. Pseudomonas, as I mentioned in the previous class, Pseudomonas is the common strain used for bioremediation. Okay. Now, halophiles in oil industry. Halophiles, the word halo, what can you recall of the word halo? Huh? Cannot hear you. Group 17. Group 7. Halogen. Okay, halogen. Okay, halophilism, love for salt. Salt here, it refers to the brine. Brine, what is brine? Salt, salt. NaCl. Okay, Cl. That's where the term halo comes from, the Cl, NaCl. Because NaCl, brines, are commonly used in oil industry for the EOR enhancement, enhanced oil recovery. Okay, they will use brine solution to push out the oil. Okay. So here, halophilism, a love for salt, refers to the physiological requirement of salt for growth and survival. So this kind of microbes, they require salt for growth and survival. Okay, the organism called halophilic or halophiles, they are halotolerant according to their salt dependency or tolerance. Okay, halophilic depending on their salt dependency. Halophiles can be found in all three domains. They are found in bacteria, archaea, and eukarya. This is the type of microbes. Okay, and are abundant in this type of groups. In petroleum industry, petroleum and salinity are coexisting factors. Okay, as I mentioned, they require the brine in the petroleum extraction process. Okay, crude oil mainly formed near highly saline areas with high evaporation rates. Okay, and its formation is associated with hypersaline brines. Here it refers to the NaCl. Okay. The most important role of halophilic microorganism occurs following the entry of oily waste into the surrounding area. Okay, the entry of oily waste into the surrounding area. They can be applied for the bioremediation of oil polluted environments. Okay, the halophilic microorganism, they produce more hydrophobic cells to elevate the salinities, which it will increase the ability to adhere to the crude oil. Okay, so this figure wait, let me separate the figure so that you can see clearly. These figures are extracted from the textbook as well. Further details explanation, you can refer to the textbook. But this one is the implementation of the halophilic organism. From here, EOR enhancement, enhanced oil recovery process, okay, from the oil reservoir, oil refineries. These are the source of the oil polluted waste. So they use the halophiles as the bioremediation technique to clean up all these oil spills. Okay, the oil contaminated saline soil treatment. This one when the oil absorbed into the soil, okay, together with the saline. So the halophiles will eat up the contaminants in the soil over here. Drilling waste, okay, where it include the saline drill cuttings and fluid. Okay, drill cuttings, it involve the saline solution as well. Treatment of sulfidic spent caustic in bioreactor. Okay, so these are the implementation of the halophiles organism. Any question? Okay, before we go to this, for the hydrocarbon, petroleum hydrocarbon, I summarize. For the petroleum hydrocarbon, we will need biosurfactants. Okay, this biosurfactants remediation technique. This biosurfactants comes from microbe. Okay, where the purpose is to reduce the surface tension and to enhance the emulsification process. Okay. There are various types of biosurfactants and also the properties of biosurfactant. This is the properties of biosurfactants. Okay. This is how they bioremediated the petroleum hydrocarbons. Okay, they clump together the petroleum hydrocarbons, release the biosurfactant and degrade them. Okay. The factors that affect the bioremediation process, these are from the environmental factors, which can be temperature, pH, and aeration. Okay, and the bioavailability of the contaminants and also type of the microbes. Okay, so the 5 major groups that you need to know, the lipids, fatty acids, the lipo group, phospholipid, and neutral lipids. Okay, so these are the 5 major groups of the biosurfactant. Major approaches, bioaugmentation and biostimulation. Okay, then you need to understand based on the case study, the Exxon Valdez, how they treat it using bioremediation technique. Okay, this is one of the case. Now for the next one is the halophiles, the application of halophiles microbe, where this microbe is love the salt. So they require salt for their growth. In previous discussion, we see they required nutrients. Some of it required like specific substrate like cellulose. Okay, but this one they required salt for their growth. Okay, so to stimulate these halophiles, you need to add in salt in order for them to grow. Okay, so next one, I want you to find out the case study of these 2 case study. Too small. Yeah. Just now I shared a bit on the Exxon Valdez. Now try to find out the case study of this one topic where it used soil from Bergen oil field, the Kuwait using compost. This one later I share with you the journal paper. And then another one is Deepwater Horizon disaster. From these two case study, you find out what is the bioremediation technique that they apply. Because this one involved the oil spill, petroleum hydrocarbon. Okay, this one you can Google the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. The effective bioremediation, this one you can Google, you can get this paper. Just type in the title. These are the paper. This is the paper. Okay, so from this paper, you find out what is the bioremediation technique that they use. Whether they use halophiles or they use any biosurfactants, okay, identify. Okay. Once you are done, just send to the chat, team chat, MS team chat. So can we do in group or you want to do it individually? Group, two groups, girls group, boys group. Identify the bioremediation technique and make sure you understand how is the technique. Okay? You go through for this paper, you go through later on, you will see how is the technique that they use. Here, bioremediation treatments. What are the bioremediation treatments that they use? Okay, they use for this one, for example, they use biostimulant. So what is the biostimulant and how is the mechanism? Okay, at least you can explain how is the technique and how is the process. Okay. The Deep Horizon disaster, you can Google. There are a lot of it. Okay, now it's 8:54. Can we start to discuss at 9:15? Is it possible? 9:15? Okay. Don't watch the movie yet. You open like something. In the movie, one day on that. Okay, any answer? Not yet found. For the first one, which group? Anything found?
Land farming and biofarming.
Land farming and biofarming.
Biofarming.
Compost, right? Biopan. Okay. Yeah, they use also biostimulant to stimulate the microbes. Biofarming and biopan. For this one, okay. Okay, how about the deep water horizon? Biostimulation. This one, the first one, the deep water. Huh? Deep water. They use fertilizer.
Bioremediation and introducing by dispenser. Sorry.
Deep sea. Deep sea.
It's
Okay.
like submarine then from the funds like that.
Biostimulants. Bioaugmentation. In the deep sea. Okay. So, any more? Bioaugmentation. Okay, so they import the microbe, add in microbes into the deep sea. Okay, apart from that bioremediation technique, if you found one paper about the deep water horizon, they use this person, right? They use this person to enhance of the bioremediation technique. Use dispersion, they are specific dispersion to disperse the oil so that to enhance the rate at which bacteria degrade the oil, okay, in order to prevent the oil slick. So they use dispersion first, two specific dispersion, then from there to ease the microbe eating the oil. Okay. Okay, so the deep water horizon is an interesting case study if you read through. This one, I think, for safety costs, it can be useful as well. Okay. Okay, so we are done with our part 3, chapter 3, part 3. Any question before we end the session? I will release the exercise perhaps by this week or next week. Not exercise, the assignment. Okay, any question before we end the session? Past year, no, this is the first time. Yeah, this is not like red lah. This is the first semester. So perhaps the question might be easier lah, because I need to generate the question perhaps from the textbook, from the journal paper, and from the discussion that we discuss in the class. Okay, basically the question will be around that topics. Okay,
With one question, how many marks?
for what? Not essay lah. As what we discussed in the class. Like for the exercise. Remember the type of bioremediation. So you need to explain what is the type, and then you need to illustrate it. Something like that. Yeah, or perhaps I can give you a case study. Let's say that that case is to treat heavy metal. So you can suggest what is the bioremediation technique that is suitable. Okay. 2 to 3. Easier if you study. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you. See you on midterm. Midterm next week. Okay. Okay, bye-bye.
Was that